welcome back to the channel. Today we're hitching a ride from Queens to the South Fork of Long Island on the Hampton Jitney bus. In this video, we're going to cover what the heck the Jitney is, what route it serves and why it's special, how to book the Jitney and what classes of service are available, and then, of course, what it's like to ride the Jitney. So, what is the Jitney? Well, it ain't your average bus. Jitney is family owned and operated and has been since its founding in 1974. It was founded by a dude named Jim Davidson amidst the gas crisis of the 70s. People were worried about finding gas in the Hamptons, so he made it easy for them by offering a shuttle service between Southampton College and Amagansett. Now, this shuttle service was initially popular, but sputtered after only a year. So Jim started offering service all the way to Manhattan and pretty much struck gold, ultimately growing the business from his kitchen table to one of the most successful businesses in the Hamptons, over 60 vehicles in the fleet today. Now, it's no secret that the Hamptons attract some high-profile people, but many still take the Hampton Jitney bus, even when faced with the alternative of a private limo or helicopter transfer from Manhattan. So let's take a ride in the so-called Green Chariot and see if this historic company still has what it takes to compete against a growing array of Long Island transport options. So here we are on a beautiful morning in mid-May. We're at the Queens Airport connection stop about to pick up a 10:25 a.m. bus to East Hampton. The bus originates in Manhattan, then stops here to pick up passengers who flew into either LaGuardia or JFK. Note, the bus does not stop at either of the airports, but instead you have to Uber to this location, which is around 30 minutes from JFK and 20 minutes from LaGuardia. And there's clearly not really much signage indicating that this is actually a bus stop, or a bus stop that actually is supposed to take us, 2 hours safely and comfortably to the Hamptons. We got Hooters there, AMC movie theater, the Long Island Expressway behind us. It's about 10:18. The bus is supposed to leave at 10:25, and there's no sign of this thing yet, so we'll see what happens. So right before I was about to give up and pop in the AMC behind me to watch Guardians of the Galaxy, our Jitney rolled up, about 15 minutes late. Eager to make up the time, the team got right to work as soon as the bus came to a stop.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
What stop are you going to, sir?
East Hampton.
East Hampton, okay. You want to put that underneath?
Yeah, that'd be great. A friendly host offered to stow my luggage underneath the bus, which I accepted. According to the website, they'll let you check up to 2 bags at no charge. If you have more, it's $25 per bag. Your Frenchie is welcome on board as well, but be prepared to fork up $10 and make sure he or she isn't a DOT-approved carrier. And lastly, bikes and or surfboards can also be accommodated at a charge of $15 a pop. Now, luckily, yoga mats don't cost extra, so I had them stow that along with my suitcase. I elected to bring my rather massive backpack on board, and no one batted an eye. Nobody verified that I actually booked a seat in advance at this point, but I'm sure if the bus was crowded, they would have checked. Hey, this fine young lady got her Mother's Day flowers early. Love to see it. Alright, once on board, we find a pretty bare-bones looking cabin that's definitely seen better days, but everything seems functional. Seats are arranged in a 2-2 configuration across 12 rows with one extra row of 3 in the back, which means this thing can carry 51 total passengers. Seating is not assigned, aka it's first come first serve, and by the time I boarded, the only open row was row numero 12, which was located strategically right in front of the lavatory. No more than 2 minutes after I stepped on board, the bus started rolling and we commenced our 2-hour and 20-minute journey to East Hampton. We're on bus number 2 today, which began its journey at 96th Street between 3rd and Lexington in Manhattan, 9:20 a.m., and then it will ultimately terminate in Montauk at 1:15 p.m. Now, no matter where you start your journey, whether that be in Manhattan or at the Queens Airport stop, it's going to cost you $40 if you pay in advance online and $47 if you pay on board. Now, if you want to ball out or upgrade your experience for any reason, Jitney also operates a more bougie bus called the Ambassador. On the Ambassador, which is $20 more than the Jitney for the dates I searched, you'll get a more spacious and luxurious interior, along with some additional onboard amenities, including a plastic party cup of drinkable but not fine wine. Has anyone ever ridden the Ambassador? Let me know, would love to hear if it's worth the upgrade. Anyways, back on board the Jitney, let's see what this seat has to offer. Legroom was solid. I didn't bring the measuring tape, but the pitch seemed roughly equivalent to an extra legroom seat on a plane. There's a footrest and seat back pocket, but not a tray table, which is a bit of a head scratcher. Power outlets were present and functional, as evidenced by this AirPods charging test. Wi-Fi was present and free, but only quasi-functional. Speed was great when it was working, but the reliability was quite poor, so I decided to use my phone hotspot for the majority of the ride. Last thing I'll point out is this sturdy little cup holder, which is great for the Starbucks I had, but ironically could not hold the little water bottles they passed out. Now, as someone with high thirst levels and low bladder capacity, I was grateful for the onboard Lav. I did not have high expectations for its cleanliness and or fragrance, but was expecting it to at least be in working order, which it was. I think it was either Plato or Aristotle that said, the best toilet in the world is the one that's available when you really need it. So here we go. The door opened with ease, and I surprisingly was not confronted by any foul odors. The lock was easy enough to figure out, and it gave me peace of mind my stay wouldn't be rudely interrupted by anyone else looking to do a video lube review during this trip. Anyhow, once inside, we find a toilet, a nice sturdy handrail, plenty of toilet paper, some hand sanitizer, and today's featured lavatory amenity, the coat hook. It's plenty roomy for a bus in my view, and not having a sink probably saves some space. After a pretty long stretch of open road, we pulled up to our first official Hampton stop, Southampton. The stop is actually located at the Jitney headquarters, and I think there might have even been a crew change. Anyways, staring at the Jitney logo on the building got me thinking, how else can I support this family-owned business besides riding their bus? Well, it turns out they got merch. Definitely could spice up the wardrobe, and prices aren't too bad either. If you're all set on the apparel side, you can try Jitney's same-day shipping service, which has been famously utilized by everyone from actors and actresses to realtors to news personalities. One night, a newsman had dinner at Almond Bridgehampton and left his credit card in the check folder. Unfortunately, he had an assignment in Paris the next day. Quote, he had a lot to drink the Friday night he was here. Back in New York the next morning, he realized he had left his corporate card but was too embarrassed to tell his company. I got onto a bus at noon, he received it in time, and all was good with the world. What a great feel-good story. Well, back on board the Jitney, we've just pulled up to East Hampton. It's around 12:50 p.m., which is only 5 minutes late, so that means we made up a good 10 minutes en route. As we're deboarding, let's take a second to recap the whole experience. Was it worth it? For me, absolutely, and I'll dive into that in a second. But more broadly, I'd say it depends on your situation, specifically when you're traveling and from where. Let's assume you don't have a personal vehicle and need to take public transport from Manhattan, and like me couldn't afford a private limo or air transfer. In this case, the Long Island Railroad is probably the cheapest option, call it $33.25, and you'll get to avoid the traffic, but these trains run less frequently than the bus. The Long Island Railroad has 4 frequencies each weekday per my count, if you don't want to leave at like 12:30 a.m. Journey times are roughly equal at 2 hours 45 to 2 hours 50 minutes. From a comfort and onboard amenity standpoint, it's probably pretty close from a pure seat comfort perspective, but the Jitney probably wins out given the abundance of power outlets and presence of Wi-Fi. I've admittedly only ridden the Long Island Railroad once though, so let me know if the MTA has upgraded those amenities in any way. And lastly, cork factor. I mean, come on, how can you beat the Green Chariot? It's literally named after a ratchet budget taxi cab that still attracts some of the world's most successful people. The company was born out of a crisis in the 70s, and true to form, it has scraped and clawed its way through every other crisis from the stock market crash of '87 to 9/11 to the global financial crisis to COVID. So I guess that makes them resilient in addition to being quirky. Anyways, my personal take, not being a resident of Manhattan or the Hamptons, I'd say you get what you pay for. It's certainly not the epitome of luxury, but it gets you from point A to point B with more frequency and arguably more convenience than its most direct competition, the LIRR. But what do you think? Have you ever taken the Jitney or its swankier sibling, the Ambassador? Let me know, I'd love to hear about it. But back at the East Hampton Jitney stop, which is also very nondescript and low profile by the way, that does it for today's trip up Long Island. Thanks again for coming along with me, and of course, please do show your support via the old like and subscribe buttons. It would mean a lot as I'm continuing to grow my channel and bring you new adventures. And if you got some extra disposable income and want to help a dude scale his business, you've also got a Patreon page. I'll leave a link in the description below. So long from the East Hampton Starbucks, and hope everyone has a great day.